When things feel slow in your business, like when the clients aren't coming in the way that you want them to, and maybe when revenue feels inconsistent, when you look at your month and think, this just isn't where I want it to be, what's the first thing you tell yourself? Now, I want you to sit with that for just a second, because what most people will say, and what I bet you probably said too, is I need more leads. So what happens? They start posting more. Maybe you try to crack the algorithm, or maybe you start a new content series, and maybe you batch some reels. Maybe you join a few more Facebook groups. Maybe you spend 3 hours on a carousel that gets 47 likes and no DMs and no comments. And at the end of all that, you're exhausted. You still don't really have more clients. And then you decide, well, it must just mean I need to do even more. Now, I know I've talked about this so much on the podcast, and I talk about it so often because I see it showing up with people at all levels of business. So today, I really want to offer you a different diagnosis on what this could be, because I don't think you actually have a lead problem. I think you have a lead management problem. And those are two very different things, and they have different solutions. And if you've been following me on social media, you'll know that I have open right now the Magnetic Conversations 45-day Telegram group, which we discuss a lot of what I'm going to talk about today in that group more in depth. If it doesn't light you up, it won't sell. And that is your sign to shift things in your business. Hi, I'm your host, Maggie Olson. I'm your business mentor, your human design expert, and the creator of the Magnetic Method Designed to Convert formula. I help women entrepreneurs just like you simplify their strategy, align their sales with their energy, and finally build a business that feels like freedom, not like pressure. After nearly 2 decades in entrepreneurship, I have learned that success isn't actually about doing more. It's about aligning with what already works for you, tapping into your natural energy. And here on the Chaos to Clarity podcast, we're going to blend human design with practical business strategy to help you attract clients naturally, sell with confidence, and grow with ease. So if you're ready to design a business that lights you up, converts with clarity, and learn more about working with me inside of the Magnetic Method mentorship and all of my other programs, you're going to find the link to all of that in the show notes, and you're going to find all of that information here on the podcast. So let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie Olson, and I am your business mentor, your human design expert, and the host of this show. And if this is your first episode, this show literally exists for the woman who is doing everything that she's been told and still not seeing those consistent results come through like she was told was going to happen. I just want to say you're not broken. You're also not lazy, and you just might be working with a system that has a hole in it. And that's what we're here to fix. Now, I know so many people will tell you, you just need this strategy. You just need that strategy. This is the one to end them all or rule them all or whatever. But if you don't have a system to support the strategy, then you're just kind of fumbling. You don't know what comes next. Now, I know I've talked about client journey so often on the podcast. And today, we're going to get into kind of the beginning part of your client journey, which is lead generation. And I want to call out a lie that I've seen happening. Now, I've owned multiple businesses over the last 20 years. And even if you look back further into my life, right? Like when I was younger, I started babysitting when I was 12 years old, right? So, and I did that in order to fund my love and obsession with horses. So the thing that I want to talk about today is that almost every business coach, every content strategy, every how to grow on social media course usually gets some of this wrong. And once you see it, like I genuinely cannot unsee it. And I hope that it kind of rings true for you as well. So again, before we get into it, like I just said, Magnetic Conversation, we start on June 1. So if you're listening to this before June 1, there's still time to join. You can go ahead and click the link down below. I'm going to talk more about this Magnetic Conversations throughout the episode, but I just want you to know, if you want support generating leads, nurturing those leads, and then closing sales, you want to get into Magnetic Conversations right now. It's only $97. So go ahead and click the link below and join me. Keep listening as you're signing up here. Okay, so let's get into it today. Now, let's talk about the lie that I'm seeing. So the thing that I'm seeing is that people will say growing your business means getting more leads coming in. And while yes, to an extent, that is kind of true, because you do need to keep bringing in more leads, right? There's 3 kind of phases in business that you have to juggle all of these, right? You have to bring in more leads, you have to nurture your current leads, and then you have to sell and bring in sales. So there's kind of 3 different parts that you're doing. Now, if you're a high ticket sales coach, right? Or if you're a coach that sells a high ticket program, even if you're a lower ticket program, you can do this same thing. And I've been doing this for Magnetic Conversations, following my own stuff to bring people in. So the belief that gets embedded in online business culture is that nobody even really questions this anymore, is that if your revenue is down, you need more leads, which that's not true, right? So revenue is down, get more leads. Clients aren't signing, get more leads. I'm feeling stuck, I need more leads. It's literally the default answer to almost every business problem, and it sounds logical, so we accept it. It's kind of like going to the dentist. We never ask for a second opinion when something is wrong, which is a whole other like wormhole, rabbit hole to go down that I just think is really kind of ironic, right? Like we'll go to a medical doctor and we'll go and get a second opinion for something, but there are things like eye doctor, dentist, where like we'll go to those doctors, and it's not that I don't trust them, because I do, but the thing that I think is ironic is that, oh, I'm going to go to my MD and I need a second opinion on something, but I don't for the dentist. Okay. So anyway, let's move on, because again, that's a whole rabbit hole we could go down. That's for a whole other podcast. So it sounds logical that if you're feeling stuck in any sort of way, you probably need more clients. But what I know from working inside of my clients' businesses, as well as running my own, right? And I've owned multiple businesses in different industries, okay, from online to in person. Now, most coaches, consultants, and service providers do not have a shortage of leads. You probably have a shortage of follow through with the leads you already have. So let's do some little maths here. Okay, so a couple months ago, I ran a 2-week version of what is now Magnetic Conversations. So Magnetic Conversations in its current situation is 6 weeks. I expanded it from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, mostly because the 2 weeks, it felt so rushed. And if we're thinking about human design in this, now I don't have a ton of human design in this, but if we're thinking about everyone's energy type, right? Manifesting generator, projector, manifestor, reflector, okay? All 5 of those types have different energy levels on any given day. So what I saw when I ran the 2-week version was that, the Mani-Gens and generators, they did just fine. But at the end of the 2 weeks, what was happening was projectors and manifestors and reflectors were all sharing with me. I felt really exhausted. It felt really hard. I wish there were more time. Now, the generators and Mani-Gens also shared that, oh, that was so fun. I wish there was more time, which is what caused me to expand Magnetic Conversations. And I think this is so interesting to have this feedback. It's why I include human design in the way I do, because I love to know what kind of energy levels I'm working with when it comes to the people in my group. Anyway, so when I ran the 2-week version, it was a small, controlled, intentional group. Again, 2 weeks inside of a chat. And in those 2 weeks, every single person, right? There were 10 people in there. Every single person in that group generated at least 20 leads, regardless of type. They had 20 leads by the end, right? In varying levels of warmth. And it wasn't 20 new followers. It was 20 actual leads. And I know this because I had these people document this. And this is part of why I love my program so much, because when you document this stuff, it gives your brain proof, right? You stop flying by the seat of your pants. You learn how to put 20, 40, 60 minutes to use with this system that I teach you, so that you have the framework, so that you can go and do the things and you can bring in the leads. You can watch them move from stage to stage in your client journey so that you know where they are. Now, when the people who were inside of that smaller program, those people were having real conversations with people who expressed interest, with people who were moving towards becoming their clients. They didn't need to run ads. They weren't looking to go viral. They didn't post more than usual. In fact, I shouldn't say they didn't post more than usual. They posted more consistently throughout that. So at the beginning of Magnetic Conversations, you make a decision. How often am I going to post? And then you share it with the group. Why? Because it's accountability. Okay, you're going to post 5 days a week. Great, cool. That means you're looking for 5 pieces of content that you need to create and send out to the world. Okay. If you're going to be in groups, decide what groups, and again, share your accountability, because when you can share that with others inside of a community, it becomes this beehive and you get support and you can support others, which feels so good. Now, something that's really unique about this program is that most people worked with what they already have. So they weren't necessarily looking to bring in 20 cold leads, although many people did bring in 20 cold leads, and they warmed 20 existing leads. So it was really 40 people who they were having conversations with. Now, before you get ahead of yourself and you're like, but Maggie, 40 conversations over 2 weeks? That sounds crazy. Okay, and if we think about that, over 10 days, if you didn't factor in the weekends, right? If you only showed up 10 of those 14 days, that's 4 conversations per day. Okay, 2 new, 2 existing. 4 conversations per day to generate 40 leads of varying warmth. So when people say I need more leads, I think it's so funny because what really? Because you probably just need a better conversation. So what did these people do? So inside of this 2-week container, again, this 2-week container is now expanded to 4 weeks or 6 weeks. So yes, these people who are in there, they utilize their DMs. I know, crazy. And if you're rolling your eyes, if you're about to press pause because I just suggested having a DM conversation, I want you to pause here, because DMs are such a valuable tool when it comes to creating connection, when it comes to nurturing, when it comes to understanding. Could you explain what you do a little bit more? I saw your post about XYZ. I'm curious about it. There's a piece that I don't understand. Can you explain this further, right? It opens the door for you to be able to connect with other people. So the people who are in that shorter version, right, they utilize their DMs, they utilize their comment section, and they looked at their Facebook friends list. If they were on Instagram, they also did Instagram, right? You choose whatever platform you want. Now, that's their existing audience. Maybe, I think some of them also looked at their email list, although it was primarily focused on socials because most people generate leads on social media. So they took their existing audience, the people who had already shown up already engaged, raised their hand, been around, seen their stuff. Maybe they liked a post. Maybe they commented on a post. And a lot of people just don't ever move that intentionally forward, which is why people are like, oh my God, I need more leads, but I have 3,000 followers on Facebook. Okay, go through that list. Look at the people who are already following and friends with you. Can you send them a message? Could you send one of them a message that says, hey, it looks like we have a similar audience. Would you be open to collaborating? Would you be open to doing a live? Right? Would you be open to doing something that's going to better both of us? Okay. So here's the thing. The leads were already there. They were just unworked, unnurtured, unwarmed. So they were cold leads. Okay. So we've discussed leads. Now let's talk about where leads actually go to die, which sounds super morbid, but I just want to paint this picture for you because I think it's going to feel uncomfortably familiar, right? Like I know it's familiar for me. And the thing is for me, when I see this happening, I've now got the tools, right? Being almost 20 years into entrepreneurship, that I can right the ship, right? I can come back to the path that needs to happen. So let me take you on this journey. Okay. So you have a conversation with someone. It goes well. Maybe they were in a comment section of your post and they were like, yes, I want whatever freebie you've been talking about. Okay. So you have the conversation with that person. Hey, Sally, let me send you a DM with the information. Okay, great. You pop over into her DMs. And inside of the DMs, you say, Sally, it was so great to connect with you on my post in XYZ group about ABC thing. I just want to ask a clarifying question. You ask the question, she gives the perfect answer, and you say, great, Sally, here's the link to grab the freebie. Okay, so that person is interested, and you're excited. You can feel their excitement, and you're like, yes, we've got a live one. We've got a live one. Here we go. Someone's interested. And then something pulls your attention away, whether it's a client call, your kids, a project, life, I don't care what it is, right? But you step away. I got to answer this thing. Okay. And you tell yourself, you'll follow up with Sally tomorrow. And tomorrow comes. And you think about reaching back out and you feel a little weird about it. And you don't want to feel pushy. I am not really sure what I should say. I don't want to push her. What if she didn't download it? What if she doesn't like it? What if blah, 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 right? And then you're like, I'll just wait for the right moment. And I tell this to my 8.5-year-old daughter all the time. Okay, she'll tell me, Mom, I'll clean that up tomorrow. And I tell her, no, please do it right now because tomorrow never comes. And just like in this instant, right, where you've had this really exciting exchange, this person is like, yes, give me the information. I'm so excited. You're like, oh, I don't want to be too pushy. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be that guy. Okay. And then the right moment, AKA tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. And now it's 3 weeks later and that person's name is buried somewhere in your DMs under a meme or 2 voice notes from somebody else. Those people are gone, or so you think, right? You think that person's gone. I can't possibly reach out to them. I'm just going to go hide under my covers. This is not working. Okay. It's not a lost lead. And I want you to really sit with that. That person isn't a lost lead. It's an unworked lead. And there's a big difference there. Because it's okay to pop back into that DM conversation and say, hey, Sally, I know you downloaded my freebie a while ago. I just want to reach back out. How's that doing? Like, did you download it? It's okay to say no, but I'd love to hear your feedback on it and reopen the conversation. In this second one, okay, imagine someone's been engaging in your content for weeks, liking things, commenting, you see them watching your stories, and you keep thinking, I should reach out to that person. I should offer them a free call. Like, I have free offer audit calls, right? If I see that you've been watching my stuff, if you're liking, if you're commenting, we've never really had a conversation, Yes, I'm going to slide right into your DMs and say, hey, Susie, I see you watching my stories. I see you commenting and liking all my posts. I'd love to offer you 30 minutes of my time for free to get to know you, to understand your offer, understand what you're about, to see if I can help you in any way. Okay. But chances are, even if you see that, you're thinking, I should reach out to that person, but you never do because you're waiting until you have something really good to say. And you're also telling yourself, if I reach out, I'm going to sound salesy, which is not the truth. Okay. Something that over nearly 20 years, officially 20 years in business, right? Like, I'm not talking about when I had a babysitting business at 14. Okay. So in nearly 20 years, the times when I reached back out to people in the follow-up and said, hey, Bobby, I know we were talking about this thing, but are you still interested? Is there anything else I can do for you? Is there any other way I can support you? That genuine curiosity has often led to sales. Because meanwhile, that person is watching, waiting, right? It's like that Jack Johnson song, I was sitting, waiting, wishing, right? And they're slowly becoming someone else's client because someone else started having the conversation you were meant to before you did. And then the last one that I'm going to give you, the last situation, right? Maybe you had a great call with someone months ago and it didn't convert at the time, but they said they needed to wait and the timing wasn't right, and maybe they'd circle back. They'd get back to you, okay? And you meant to follow up, right? You even wrote their name down, probably have it on a sticky note hanging on the side of your monitor, okay? But then it just didn't happen because you're like, oh, what if I reach out and they still don't want to work with me? What if I reach out and they say no? What if I reach out and they ghost me, they don't answer me back? Now, all of these things that I just named, they are not lead problems. They are follow-through problems. And no amount of new content is going to fix a follow-through problem. Now, something that I tell people inside of my programs is that when I owned the yoga studio, almost all of my money was made in the follow-up. Same thing with my photo business. There were times in the photo business when I would meet with a couple when I was photographing weddings who would book me on the spot. But more often than not, we would meet and they would say, okay, cool. We have a couple other meetings. We'll get back to you. Great. Perfect. Because I'm going to go home and I'm going to craft an email that says, hey, Bobby and Sally, it was so great to meet with you. I love all of your ideas for your wedding. I'm so excited to support you. I genuinely can't wait to hear your answer on who you're going to be choosing as your wedding photographer. Please reach out with any questions. I would love to answer them. Whether you book with me or not, here's a free guide for how your day can go. Okay, and I would give that to them so that they could have that. I don't, right? Like that's something that was the follow-up, the follow-through that usually got me the business. Same thing in the yoga studio. Someone would come to class. They would give me a free class card because what I did for the yoga studio was I created business cards that said free class pass on the back. Bring this into class. Bring it back in. All my teachers had them. I gave them a stack. They would bring the card back, right? New people would bring the card back. They would get a free class. They would go into the system and then they would get sent through an automation, right? An email automation, which was manual for a time, right? So people would come in, I would put them in, and then after class, I would sit and manually write, hey, Susie, thanks so much for joining the 5:30 p.m. Monday evening class. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's what you can look forward to if you become a member of MPY, right? And I would tell them this in the studio, but chances are when you come into the studio, you take a class, you're leaving, you're like, I can't retain that information. So following up brought those people back to me. Okay, now let's fast forward a little bit to the Magnetic Conversations 2-week group that I had just a couple months ago. One of the women in that pilot group had not signed a client in over a year, in over 12 months, right? A full year of posting, of showing up, of trying things. She came into that 2-week group, worked the leads she already had access to, and signed a new client within the first 5 days of being inside of that program. Not a new follower. It was someone she already had connected to. The lead was already there. So it is possible. It is possible to follow up and follow through. Now, I want to take a quick pause here because I want to talk a little bit about your business systems. Now, I know this might feel really boring to think about your systems and what actually supports your business. But if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I love what she's talking about, but like, how do you do all the automations? How do you do all the things and keep them going smoothly? Now, about 4 years ago, at the time of recording this, I switched over to a tool called Sattva. At the time, I was using 4 paid subscriptions. I was looking at another 2 or 3 subscriptions to add on to support all the things, right? Everything from email to payments to funnels to websites to Calendly, calendars, all of that, right? And then I got introduced to Sattva, which is everything in one place. So leads, follow-up, conversations, pipeline, payments, you name it, it's in there. Courses, everything. And now I'm the director of operations of Sattva. So I don't say this because I'm the director of operations. I say this because I love the product and I love what it can do for you. So if you want a demo, feel free to slide into my DMs and DM me the word demo, and we'll go through everything that Sattva is. I can show you exactly how it works and tell you exactly what subscriptions you can get rid of and start saving money on your subscriptions. So let's get back into the show. Now, let's talk a little bit about what lead generation actually is. So if lead generation isn't about getting more clients into the top of your funnel, then what the heck is it? Because if it's not that, then we've been told a lie, which we haven't. Like lead gen, that's part of lead gen, bringing people into the top of the funnel, the cool people. So when I define lead generation, I define it as recognizing demand that already exists and moving towards that existing demand with intention. That's the whole thing. Okay, it's not creating demand from scratch. It's not convincing strangers on the internet to care about you, right? It's literally looking at your existing network, your world, whatever you want to call it, your DMs, your comment sections, your Facebook friends, your past clients, your email list, your followers, and then identifying the people who are already warm, who are already paying attention to you, already somewhere in the vicinity of interested, and starting a conversation. Now, I know so many people are like, ew, DMs. But quite honestly, that DM could look something simple like, hey, Sally, I noticed we've been following each other for a while. I'd love to expand my network. Would you be interested in getting on a coffee chat to see how we can connect? Okay. This utilizing your current network allows the shift from waiting for leads to find you to going where the leads already are. And yes, even if you're a projector, even if you're a reflector, even if you're a manifester, and manifestors, I'm going to call you out right now because yes, you're here to inform, but if you're also not taking into consideration what people are actually asking from you, you might be informing of the wrong thing. So take that with a grain of salt though, right? If human design is not for you, which I know it's not for everyone, your energy in your business still matters. If you're exhausted at the end of the day and you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I can show up and tomorrow is only Tuesday, you probably need to rethink what you're doing in business, okay? So when you make the shift, right? The shift from going to where the leads, waiting for leads to find you to where the leads are, when you make that shift, you have a daily practice of intentionally starting and continuing conversations. Okay, so 20 leads in 2 weeks is not a stretch. Like I said, even if you want 20 brand new leads in 2 weeks and you're only showing up 5 days a week, right? You're taking weekends off. That's 2 people per day to have a new conversation with, to say, hey, Sally, I noticed you commented on my post in ABC group about XYZ thing. I'd love to chat more. Or, hey, Bobby, thanks so much for adding me here on Facebook. I see your ABC whatever. I'd love to know more about what you do. It's not, people make it so much harder than it actually is. It's very doable, and the people are already there, right? There's a reason why, and I know some of you are going to be like, ew. There's a reason why Alex Hormozy tells you have 100 conversations per day. Now, I don't think you need that many conversations per day. But if you're having 3 to 5 new conversations per day, you're going to see results faster than you realize. Okay. Now, what I've been talking about, this is exactly what weeks 1 and 2 inside of magnetic conversations are built around. Remember, I expanded magnetic conversations from being a 2-week sprint to 6 weeks of support. So inside of magnetic conversations, weeks 1 and 2 are built around intentionally having and starting and continuing conversations. Not growing your following, not going viral, right? I'm not teaching you some complicated outreach strategy that feels really gross. I'm teaching you to utilize 20 to 40 minutes of your day intentionally so that you can have better conversations, so DMs don't give you the ick. Okay. So inside of magnetic conversations, you are going to identify your warm leads. Okay. Again, I help you build a simple daily practice for generating those conversations, for having the conversations, for going into it and not feeling like, ooh, this is icky, right? We do it together. That's why I built this group, is so that you would have community support to go in, have some direction, but also ask questions and share what's happening and say, I just posted this thing, or I just messaged this person this thing. Is it cringe? Is it not cringe? How do I answer this person back without feeling overly salesy? That's what this group is for. It's there for accountability and support, so it actually happens instead of just being another thing on your to-do list that you don't get to done. Okay? It sounds good, but you want to get this stuff done, right? Because if you're going to make money, you need to be able to execute this kind of stuff. So if there's anything that you walk away from today, I want it to be this next thing, okay? You probably don't need more leads. You probably need a system for the leads that you already have. You likely need a way to track who you're talking to, and I don't mean a sticky note on the side of your screen, okay? I mean like a spreadsheet with the names of people, where they are, right? Just a simple checklist. I have this for you. I've created a tracker for you that you get on the inside of magnetic conversations for you to use and for you to see, to give your brain proof that you are actually doing the things, that you are actually making this happen. Okay? Because what it does is it builds a structure for what to do next after every conversation, and the consistency to keep showing up even when it doesn't feel like it's working yet. It does not need to be complicated. It does not need to be expensive. It does not require a big audience, and it does not require a perfect offer or 5 years of building on your brand. It requires practice, support, and patience. Now, if you want to join Magnetic Conversations and you're listening to this before June 1st, okay, I want you to go ahead and click the link below. It's a 45-day group inside of Telegram. Again, we have 3 phases: lead generation, inviting to calls, and closing. You get live coaching with me the entire time. There are some bonus calls that we're going to do, but I'm there for voice support, voice and text support the whole time. And it is only $97. I understand and realize this should be a lot more expensive, but I also wanted it to be very accessible for those of you who might feel like you're really struggling. So again, if you're listening to this right now and it's before June 1st, go ahead and click the link below inside the show notes. You can also go to the link in my bio on Instagram or Facebook. Grab your spot. We are starting the conversation together, and I want you in there. I genuinely want you in there. That's why I priced it at the price that I did. It's enough to have a little bit of skin in the game, but it's also not something that's going to break your bank. My goal for this is for you to sign a client while we're together for this 6 weeks. So if you have an offer that is more than $97, you will see ROI from this, right? I can't guarantee those results, but that is my intention. That is the energy I am showing up with to support you as you sign at least one client during our 6 weeks together. Now, if you're listening to this and it's after June 1st, 2026, okay, and the group is already running, go and get into the free Telegram group. That link is also down in my bio, and you'll get onto a wait list for the August cohort, which is when I'm going to open this up again. And that August is my birthday month, so we're going to do something really special inside of that. Not that this first 6-week cohort isn't going to be thebomb.com, but I'm also going to do something cool in there. So that's it for today. If this episode landed, I would love for you to share it with someone else who needs to hear it. Because I promise you that you know at least one person who's been posting her face off, thinking she just needs more eyeballs, thinking she just needs to be out of the 200 view jail. Send her this episode, please, because I think it will really help her. Now, that's all for today. I'll see you next week. Next week, I will be talking about what actually happens when you start having the right conversations, including, again, some of the proof from that initial group that I ran, right? From the beta group, that was only 2 weeks. Okay, it'll make your jaw drop a little. So, as always, make sure you like, share, comment, follow, all the things. Make sure you leave me a review. That is something that I need to get better at. Please go ahead and leave me a review. If you want to leave me a review with a little like more than just the stars, that would be chef's kiss, because I want this information to get out to as many people as possible. And I can only do that with your help. So I hope you have the best day ever, and I will talk to you again so soon.